Here's a great idea for your next outing. A cruise of the L.A. Harbor on a Spirit Cruises yacht. Spirit Cruises offers everything you need to relax and enjoy your time on the water. For more information, call 310-548-8080 or visit spiritmarine.com.
We're going to honour an old friend today, Mike, and everybody out there. He's a man that I admired very much. His name is Sib Hashian, and he played drums in Boston, the band Boston. And he passed away, sadly, on Thursday, March the 23rd, 2017. And I'm going to read a little bit of his bio, okay? Then we're going to let you know what else we're going to do. Sib's first name was John, so it's John Hashian. And he was a long-time Linfield resident, that's Massachusetts, and formerly of Lynn. And he was the son of the late James Jack and Giovanni Jenny Travolta Hashian. Sib was the youngest of 4 children and was raised in Lynn and was a graduate of Lynn English High School, class of 1967. After receiving his first drum pad as a child, music became his passion. Sib earned money drumming as a young teen to help support his family. While in his late teens, he was playing 7 sets a night, 7 nights a week in the club district of Boston, honing his craft of drumming. Sib continued his education at Catholic University in Washington, D.C., earning an associate's degree, but with the Vietnam draft looming, he chose to enlist into the United States Army Officers Candidate School, and after successfully completing OCS, Sib served as a first lieutenant in the Vietnam War. Less than 2 years after being honourably discharged from the army, Sib reconnected with his musician friends from where the war from before the war to start the band Boston, which would go on and have one of the highest selling debut albums of all time. So that's just a little bit about him, and that's the man that I met when Boston toured and Sabbath toured with Boston toured with Sabbath. And so I met, that's the person that I met, the guy that I've just described there. And I'll talk a little bit more about him after we play the entire Boston album. That's what we're going to do today. This album, I need to say a couple of musical things about this. I think this was this was an album which could be part of other albums that were turning points in how we recorded records. One of the things that when I first heard Boston's new album was the production. I think the production is very, very good, and if you listen carefully, you'll notice that Sib doesn't add too much or play too little. He plays just right, and they're very well. It's very well rehearsed. It's very well put together, and that's what I noticed when I first heard the record years and years ago. Now, when I first heard it, and to me, when I listened to it, I thought, oh, that's different. That's and I was comparing it to other things that I was listening to it at the time, which were like, this is not to sound condescending of the other music I was listening to, but it was almost like Boston's music was a little bit tighter, and the other stuff that I was listening to at the time, as great as it was just kind of sloppy. There's kind of some little things that were left hanging out, So it was the first time that I'd heard this kind of tighter production. And another remarkable thing about the Boston album is that I believe every single song was a hit. So that's really unusual. You bring out the first album and every single one got airplay, and every single one became a hit. And I suppose there's some people who know better than I do about that, but there's a lot of hits on what we're going to listen to right now. So with a sad heart, I felt really sad when I heard the news about Sib, but we're gonna honor him, and we're gonna do that. We're going to do that right now. Here are all those great songs from Boston's first album. There you go. Wow. That was Sib Hashian playing drums. Before I start talking about Sib, I do want to mention one thing about that particular album we just heard. On the track, Rock and Roll Band, according to the original album I forgot what they call that. The liner notes. My God, I'm getting that old. Yeah, you're getting that old. Right. On Rock and Roll Band, Jim Massadea played drums. On Rock and Roll Band, every other track was played by Sib. So I just want to make sure that we stay on the right pages. And so, having said that, this is for the student that might be listening. Listen to Sib, listen to what he does, listen to where he goes, listen to how he just plays and holds things together. I think he's a great drummer to listen to. I listened to him for a long time. He's a great drummer to listen to, and I hope you can learn something from him. And that's for the students. I also want to send our condolences at Rock 50, and my family has already sent a public letter sending our condolences to his large family. As over the years, the family got bigger and bigger, and so our condolences to his wife and to those that he's left behind, and I know that they'll always be forever in their hearts, and Sib's going to live in people's hearts for a long time. And for those who ever met Sib, I think it's going to have that same effect. It's going to last for a long time. If you meet Sib Hashian, you're not going to forget Sib Hashian. He's that kind of a guy. Right now, I saw him making, his eyes were incredible, and he had a huge smile, and he was always managed to crack a joke somehow through any given situation. Sometimes I travelled with Sib in my little touring bus that I had back in those days, and we would often be in awkward situations, travelling through America and what have you, and Sib was always able to come up with the right word at the right time. So, and I want to be careful today because I still feel quite sad. I've been I'm and also to be in respect of this given situation right now, and the fact that Sib has only just passed away. So I was going, well, shall I talk about some stories and stuff like that? And I've decided not to, at least today. I don't think it would be I don't think it would be appropriate. They're not stories about that are necessarily weird or anything, but it just might not be appropriate. With Sib and I, I'll leave it at this. When we had our time together, we definitely traversed a few mountains and a few hills and did a few things together, and we had some good times. So, and when I listened to the album, I was taken right back, even though I've heard it countless times since then. I mean, it's probably going to be played. Just today, April the 15th, 2017, it's probably going to be played in California or in Los Angeles that album is constantly playing all the time. It never stops. So it goes on forever. So I just want to, well, the only thing I can say is thanks, Sib. I love you, but you already know that. And thank you for everything that you've given us. I think you've done a remarkable job. Sib later went on to move into other areas that concerned him and was quite outspoken. He's an honourable man. He's a very honourable man, and he did honourable things, honourable action. So I know we're talking about Sib today, but I have to say that I have to give compliment as well to Brad. Brad was the singer in Boston, and when we were listening to and Brad has passed away too, you know, and when we were listening back, I couldn't help, you know, re-listening to Brad, and I'm going, my God, you know, what an incredible singer. They were an incredible band. I mean, really, they're just a great band. So anyway, I just wanted to say that about Brad and recognise that what a great singer he really was. Oh boy! In preparation for this particular part of the show, I must be honest, I've been a little bit sad and a little bit, you know, kind of dragging my feet a little bit, you know. I'm glad that we were able to honour him today. I'm glad that we were able to play Boston's music, and I'm left with great memories. And you know what? You can't beat that. So, and I'll leave it at that.